souls, transforming worlds to a better wonder to behold. No poverty, zero hunger for the elderly or younger. Good health and well-being, good education, empowering women to become sensation. Clean water, sanitation is a right of every nation. Economic growth inclusive and sustained through industry innovation and purely dedication. Yeah, infrastructure be gain, reduce inequality for sure, make human settlements secure, take urgent actions to combat climate change, conserve life below water and land, ensure we do not estrange. Justice for all the peaceful and empathetic nations. Let us all partner to achieve these goals and provide much needed salvation. Each one teach 10, no compensation. Each one teach 10, no compensation.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining. Good morning, good evening, namaste, hola, bonjour, geremed, terve, and maravan. This is Mavrogeorge, your host for the day. Welcome to episode 87 of the podcast Each One Teach 10, an amazing world of STEM, an inspiring venture where we'll be discussing that STEM is part of every day for every kid. We all will learn together how to build a STEM culture. Well, for today, my guest is Miss Julie Mavrogeorge. Hello.
Good morning. Well, evening for you. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing very well, thank you.
It's amazing. So, how's the weather been there today?
I'm actually in Florida for the next couple months, anticipating the birth of my first grandchild. So I'm staying with my kids, and it is very hot and very sticky. Much different than California.
Oh, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, before we begin, I would like to give a short intro about my lovely guest today. So, tech toys and programs are her jam. She's developed numerous programs in esports, drones, robotics, and design. She routinely shares her knowledge at conferences and virtually in monthly meetings with Intel, our California statewide esports group, and collaborative of large districts across the US. Trained in interpersonal communication, conflict resolution, team and organization development, and program management. He's the rare breed of an influencing manager, systems implementation expert, and a skilled presenter. With 30 years of experience in training, facilitating, coaching, mentoring, and delivering presentations, she has the ability to visualize the project, create the essential material, and deliver interactive high-skill presentations and workshops that fulfill the client's needs. It's my absolute honor to have you here, Miss Julie. So I would, start off with my first question for you for the day.
Absolutely.
That is, esports is my jam, and helping others find their passion and purpose is what fuels me. How did you get involved in esports and education technology?
Well, I kind of came into it through technology, honestly. I was a web design front end um, teacher. I took courses, and then I ended up teaching people how to design websites. And then Fresno Unified was hiring someone to the STEAM team within IT, and I applied and was selected. And so how I started by helping to create robotics and drone programs and other technology type programs. Found Minecraft right as we were getting ready to go into the pandemic. I'd been playing Minecraft at that point for about 2 years, and helping teachers learn how to use it within their classroom. And a few of my friends who are teachers reached out and just said, my kids are so disengaged. Like, how can I get them more involved? And I said, well, there's this new thing called Minecraft Esports. What if we give that a try? And so I held a series of a bunch of trainings. I was introduced to the gentleman who created the worlds, our good friend, Stephen Reed. And Stephen and I met many times during the first probably 6 months or so to train myself and some of my teammates on Minecraft esports. And my background, if we rewind several years, I was a athlete myself all the way through college. I played into junior college. And then I coached for approximately 25 years after that. I've mentored women throughout my lifetime. And so esports kind of brought all of those things together and allowed me to implement a program that focused on mentorship and collaboration, and really support the teachers in a time of need. And because we started with build battles, the teachers could have their students, split into groups within the class, and they could build something in language or literacy or science or math. And so right away, it became just a way for students to engage with each other and students to engage with their teachers in the classroom. So that's kind of the journey that got me to the first few steps of esports.
I must say that is indeed absolutely inspirational. So, you're talking about, getting involved in esports and education technology through your work as a web design teacher. And you started teaching about, drones and Minecraft and helping teachers use these tools to engage students in the classroom. Also talking about, my Minecraft Pro student Reed and, working with him on Minecraft with esports and guiding teachers through build battles. And also your background, like as an athlete and as a coach, and your entire combined experience with working women and empowering them has fueled your passion for helping others finding their purpose, and of course making the classroom more lively and engaging for the students.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
amazing. Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, moving on to my next question for you is, what role does mentorship and training play in the success of esports programs? And how do you approach this in your work with the G.Mav Consulting LLC?
So I believe that the best coaches that exist are true mentors, right? When we look at, I'm going to rewind quite a ways, but if we look at um, Coach Wooden, who coached at UCLA for years, he is a role model that I follow and have read his books. Even Coach Jimmy V at South Carolina, when you think of those coaches that were my models, they were true mentors. Coaches that I had, they spent time with us outside of just athletics. It wasn't about just performance on the court. And I believe that's the same in esports. It's not just about the gaming aspect or, learning the skills to improve gameplay. It is about developing the whole student, especially when we're talking Minecraft, because we used in Fresno Unified, and I'll continue to work with Fresno Unified as part of my consultancy now, where I'll work with Minecraft Esports and Nintendo Switch titles and some other games as well in the after school program. And so what I'm teaching the organizations who are stepping in, right, is you have to develop the whole student. You have to teach the organizers and the people who are in the room with the students how to be that leader that a student wants to follow, right? And so it's about spending time with them. It's about digging into what makes them tick, right? What taking note of tension on the team and addressing that and fostering true collaboration and teamwork, not just teamwork for gameplay. Again, we want students to learn how to work cooperatively together. So because those are the skills they're going to take into their college career or their actual jobs. And I feel that a lot of students now who come from, either their foster kids, or they might be homeless, or they maybe have just a single parent in their home, and mom or dad has to work all the time to just put food on the table. So they miss out on a lot of that adult leadership and mentorship. And so I believe that it is paramount in leadership of people within esports to embrace being a mentor to all the students that they can on their teams.
Absolutely. I think mentorship and training are crucial to the success of literally any field that you go into, and especially when talking about esports programs as well. And you rightly mentioned that the best coaches are also your best mentors. And spending time with students is not just meant to improve their esports skills, but also help them build their identity and leadership qualities. It's important to take a note of the entire team, the tension, and to address the team dynamics by promoting the four C's that are critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity, which is going to further help them, like you said, in their college as well as ahead when they take up jobs and work for themselves. And also, like you're talking about focusing upon the holistic approach, and students and who are not able to get that adult leadership would be able to make sure that they're getting it by understanding themselves, by having a great mentor, and for that one must always be open to be a great mentor.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for answering
Yeah.
that question.
Yeah.
All right. So I have another question for you. What trends do you foresee in the future of esports and technology in education? And how should educators prepare for these trends?
I think that AI is going to start playing a large role. I think that right now, most of the AI that is available to educators, like when you attend conferences, is geared towards helping them understand, helping the teachers understand. But there are a couple of companies who are starting to utilize AI for creating video games, right, and allowing students to use that creative side to build their own video games using AI. We know that developers are using AI to help them write code to create video games on the back end. And so I really think that the trend moving forward as far as education is that bridge between esports and AI and teaching kids coding. Even this next week, I've opted to attend the Minecraft Make Code for computer science AP courses because I want to understand so that I can help teachers with Minecraft. And computer science, and be able to teach kids the coding aspect of that. So it can be done in Minecraft, but also in Unity and Unreal Engine and all the development tools to create games. So I really think that there is a huge future that's going to start to occur as far as game development in schools. Because the skills are transferable outside of just esports and gaming. I also feel like the greater ecosystem, I will say, of esports as far as the video production and broadcasting, doing things like we're doing right here, that students are going to get more involved in learning all the aspects of producing an event. Again, those are skills that are transferable into the movie industry, right? We went to see a movie this last week, and there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of names that scroll at the end of movies. And many of those are the broadcasters, the production assistant, the lighting, the audio, the video, the CGI. And those are all things that students can learn through esports courses. So I really think you're going to see an uptick in the number of courses that are offered in schools. And then that will just also benefit the actual, gameplay of the students who are excited about playing. My hope is also that administrators and superintendents and teachers and parents will come to understand that right now, it's kind of limited as far as the type of video games that students are allowed to play in school. And I hope that a greater understanding of, the games, like I'm going to use Valorant as an example. It's not allowed in many campuses or many districts right now. But it's also one of the top games that's being recruited in college, and that, that students want to play. And so I hope that the understanding of esports is much more about what, like you said, the 4 C's, and that collaboration and teamwork, strategic planning and critical thinking, that they'll see that side of it and allow for a broader range of games. I'm seeing, slow growth, like very tiny little growth. But I hope that changes as well, so that we can really feed students into those college programs in the games that the colleges are playing.
Yes, of course. I think small steps at a time always help a lot. And
Yeah.
I think in the future of esports and technology and education, like you rightly said, AI will play a significant role. And to be honest, has started, the role has begun as well. Because, the conferences and increasingly focusing on AI, whichever you attend, or even though, like, I had a career fair at my school today. So, like, we had the parent teacher meeting. So, once a year, our school organizes that for students to, go ahead and look out for universities for grade 10 and 11, for grade 11 and 12 students. So, like, I did go to a few universities, and I can see all of them are focusing on how they want to, include AI. But then they always, have that apprehension of how are we going to include it for the gaming side, because they do have the apprehensions of gaming maybe could be, just for game design, but then it's not much into the esports aspect. But
Right.
then if seeing now universities have, like you rightly said, are being open up for that. They're agreeing upon adding more and more games, and how they can, basically inspire students to build games. So I think the closing bridge between esports and AI will be increasingly beneficial, with tools like Minecraft, Unreal Engine, Unity having a huge future. And game development in schools will become more prevalent, allowing students to, learn a wide range of skills, like you talked about, from CGI to movie production. And even the educator should prepare by staying updated, on these technologies and incorporating them into the curriculum, so that they can equip the students with the skills that they need in the future. So yeah, thank you so much for answering that.
Yeah.
Right. So my next question for you is, we are very much aware of the growing popularity of esports, and we're discussing about that. There are undeniable educational and developmental benefits. However, there are also concerns about students becoming overly attached to their devices. So, how do you balance the positive aspects of esports programs with the need to ensure students maintain a healthy relationship with technology?
So I think it's really important. The programs that I helped develop at in Fresno Unified really, and those that I've helped with other districts. Right now, I'm working with Los Angeles Unified, and I really like to stress the whole student. So it's the mental, the physical. And not just physical as exercise, but physical as far as, what they're eating. Are they drinking water, and not just, power drinks and monsters and, that type of thing. And also sleep. It's very, very important. And so incorporating, mindful moments into, the practice every day. I see, even if you do even for young students, like when we do Minecraft, it's a simple check-in, like a question of the day. Like, what did you do at lunch today? Or how was doing homework last night? Or just a check-in. A simple question like that can lead to an ongoing conversation, to help improve, the student's well-being. we have them keep a sleep journal and an eating log of, are you eating hot Cheetos every day? Is that your lunch? Or are you having a sandwich or, soup or whatever it is, right? Like, so that you're eating healthy. Not that hot Cheetos are bad, but if that's all you're living on, hot Cheetos and Mountain Dew, that's not that's not going to produce. And when you connect that to, your mental acuity and the ability that, what we eat and how much sleep we get and how much water and how healthy our body is actually allows our brain to function better, which allows us to have, better gameplay, and reaction time and communication skills, right? Or teamwork within. And when you start to address, especially with younger kids, I'm going to say, like, when they make that connection at an early age, then you're creating a lifestyle pattern, right, that they're going to follow. For older students, it's a little harder sometimes to get them to break some habits, but it's important, to add that in. And then, of course, physical activity. If you sit in front of a computer all day long, and there have been days when I do that, right? If I go to stand up, my back aches, my knees hurt, I'm stiff. So it's important to incorporate actual exercising, whether it's just arm stretches and finger stretches, or, I encourage people to get out and, it's the old adage, touch grass, right? You got to go out and touch grass, play kickball for a little while, or throw a football around. There are some new esports games that are coming about. One of those is Hado, where it's, electronic dodgeball, which you literally have a VR headset with peripheral vision, and you are in an arena, you're moving, but it's also, a digital game. So there are some esports games that are coming up, uh, in the esports space that are actual physical activity games. But it's really, really important that we stress that you can't just sit and play games 24/7. That is not going to make you a better player. It's actually going to be detrimental to you, because if you're sleep deprived, and, in anything we do, right, that there comes a point where you're not going to get a return on your action. Even like in basketball, right? Like, sometimes if you're having a bad game, right, or a bad day or a bad week, right, it's like, okay, I need to take a break and go do something different, and then come back and re-engage. And so it's teaching students those skills as well, so that they can be successful in, their passion.
Absolutely. Like, I really loved how you mentioned about the importance of physical activity, because I totally believe in that as well. Focusing on balancing both mental, like meditating, and the physical. Like, I do have a proper habit that I would exercise in the morning for an hour, and as soon as I reach school, I go to the basketball court and I play for, of course, till the time the school starts. It helps me to start my day on a fresh note, and I stay pumped throughout the day, and I'm having good energy levels. So I think balancing, like you said, the positive aspects of esports programs with the need of students to maintain a healthy relationship with technology is very important. And we need to emphasize mental and physical well-being by encouraging them to be mindful of what they eat, by staying hydrated, by drinking water and not energy drinks all the time, getting enough sleep, and practicing mindfulness, of course. And like you said, we stress upon the importance of eating nutritious food instead of snacks like crisps, as this can positively impact the mental function and overall skills. And I really like the point of, for younger students, if they're starting a habit, that will help them to establish healthy lifestyles patterns early. But for the older ones, it's a little tough because you already have a habit maintained. But I think I've heard this thing called it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. So I think if they're going to follow it, it may turn out to be successful. And additionally, of course, physical based esports activities can, of course, help them by staying active and engaged with technology as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Thank you. Well, I do have a fun question to ask you.
Okay.
So, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, that's a tough one, because I love superheroes. I'm in my son's office, so you can see Spider-Man is his favorite, and Batman. Batman's on his screens here. Um, so I love superhero movies. Um, but I also love like Star Wars and Indiana Jones and Harry Potter and all of those. So it's hard to pick just one, but I would say it is if we rewind, it's a solid toss up between The Princess Bride and The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club was the movie that kind of described my entire high school experience, and I love that. But I probably would have to go with The Princess Bride. It is just a classic, and I just one of my all time favorites. I could watch it over and over and over again.
Oh, that's cool to know. Well, like you mentioned Harry Potter, I remember reading the series before watching the movie, so I had imagined a few aspects, and honestly, it did match to what the movie looked like. So I think that kind of made the Harry Potter series like still as one of my favorite movie series. I don't
Yeah,
have like one favorite movie because I think it's always a aspect that I pick from one movie that becomes my favorite.
right.
And like, but I would say Harry Potter is like it would never change as the all-time favorite series of any child, I believe.
There you go. And I love it too because I get teased a lot because I do think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but I also think that Harry Potter is a Christmas movie because it always has Christmas in it. Anyway, so
Absolutely.
that's a great genre to watch. And you learn
I know.
something new every time you watch it. Like you pick up on
Yeah.
new things. So I love that.
Right. Thank you so much. Okay, can you hear me?
I can. There we go. Yeah, I
Okay,
froze
sorry.
for that's okay.
Yep. Right. So I was asking if you could share some success stories or notable achievements from the programs you've developed or implemented.
So, yeah, there's so many, from simple things where students, found a way to express themselves. I'll be honest, my favorite group of students are the neurodivergent students that find success in esports. And I define neurodivergent, as students that have been diagnosed with autism or ADHD, anxiety, depression, dyslexia. I mean, the list goes on and on, but um, my heart just leaps. I literally get teary eyed when I talk to parents or to students that, the way I describe it is, when my kids were in school, they were the students that were all grouped together with a teacher, uh, like an aide, a teacher's aide, and they were set in the back of the classroom because they needed extra help. But what esports does is it allows them to come alive. It allows them to thrive and succeed in ways that traditional education doesn't meet their needs. They because of a screen, it's a safe place for students, particularly with autism, right? But really all students to the neurodivergent students to focus in and hone in on the screen where you still have like we have face-to-face interaction, but it's virtual. So for an autistic student to see a face on a screen is safe, right? They don't have to worry about, the reaction or the space between us, the physical space between us. And so when they are interacting with a screen and the objects on the screen and the characters on the screen, like they find this level of comfort where they come to life in their creativity and in their communication. And, we've had several students through Fresno Unified that have become team captains and team leaders, who have made friends, who have participated now in an extracurricular activity that they had never done before. They go to school, they're stuck in a corner, they go home, and nobody when you're in a corner with a teacher's aide, like people don't interact with you, right? Like because you're just there with maybe the one or two other students that are similar to you. With that aid becomes then your safe place, right? But when we add technology and a computer screen, now they learn to interact not just in the screen, but then what we're seeing is they're turning to their teammates and their fellow members. They're helping to them to learn. They're teaching others. And so I believe that technology, and specifically like esports and, web development or STEAM with robotics and drones and those types of things, are allowing students who have it's a different type of brilliance that they have, that we who are not neurodivergent, that we're neurotypical thinkers, don't have. And I believe that it's really allowing them to shine. So we see that a lot in different from third graders all the way up to 12th graders in Fresno Unified. I've been at conferences where moms have literally told me, stood up and said, esports actually saved my student's life. My son did. This one woman in particular, at a smaller district in Texas, said, my son was struggling with suicidal thoughts, and he found esports, and he's now an esports manager at a college. So literally esports can save lives, right? Because it allows a place for people to thrive in a space that's safe for them. And then that story can be replicated over and over in different districts to varying degrees. But those are the things that I really feel like esports does for students and families.
Absolutely, it helps them to stay alive as it provides them a place to thrive. Absolutely. We've seen, like you talked about, remarkable success stories from what the esports program you've developed, right? Particularly with the neurodivergent students diagnosed with ADHD, dyslexia, and other conditions. Esports has provided them, like a safe space where they can focus on the screen and they're able to engage in the virtual interaction, like you said, and they don't have to, worry about the pressures of the physical interactions. And this was the environment that helped them to come alive, bringing out their creative side and ultimately help them to shine as well. So, like, I really like the concept of, students who are one sideline in the corner, not talking too much to the students, but at home when they're getting the time to play esports, they're able to, interact with other people, and then they're getting the courage to learn from them and teach them. So through these programs, like you said, some of them have grown into team captains, managers, and they've learned valuable interaction and leadership skills. So I totally believe and agree with your thoughts that the blend of technology, esports, STEAM, robotics, drones has allowed these students, all of them, to find their place and excel ahead in life.
Yes, just 100%. Honestly, that's the reason I do it, is because I know that students can find their passion. If we change education to meet their needs instead of trying to fit, a square peg into a round hole, right? Like, education hasn't changed, it's stayed the same. And it doesn't fit all students. And so I believe that a lot of the STEAM programs and esports just allow for those students to find their place, and that is why I do what I do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for what you do. And you
Yeah,
inspire a lot of students and teachers. Thank
thank
you.
you. Mhm.
So before we end, we would love to know where we can find you online, Miss Julie, and what message would you like to give to the audience that is listening to us right now?
I both on Twitter and on Facebook. I'm at JDogMav, also on Instagram. For LinkedIn is where I spend most of my time, and it's Julie Mavro on LinkedIn. I post quite often on there. I like to share articles and just successes of other people as well. And I do share sometimes about the things that I do, but I like to share more about what others are doing and really lift up others. And I would just say, if I can leave just one parting thought, it would be, if and I'm going to speak to administrators and superintendents and those that are maybe leery to try to add esports, or they don't understand. I would say reach out reach out to, there are numerous organizations. You can always reach out to me as well. I've helped 30 plus districts, whether it's just having a conversation of here's how you start, to sharing, documents that I've created, or, I have a playbook that I've created to share with people, just to help them get off the ground. Take the chance, because you will see, up to 35, 36% of students who have never participated in any activity. You're going to see them come into and find school pride and a place to belong, and they're going to be successful. We see attendance rates go up and suspension rates go down and GPAs go up with those that participate in esports and STEM programs. So I would say, just try it. It can't hurt to have an esports club or team on your campus to see how it can influence those students.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that lovely message. And, talking to you today has reminded me of this fact that esports and technology provides a safe space for creativity and growth, empowering all the students to shine and find their place in a digital and physical world. Thank you so much, Ms. Judy. It was lovely talking to you today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for joining and listening to this episode. And I'll see you in the next one. Till then, each one, each 10, have a nice day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.